the seeds that I have that are a few years old. Ones like this radish sprouting seeds. I got these years ago when I started gardening and just been sitting in my seed bag. And other things, so root crops that are older seed that I'm probably not going to grow this year. I'm going to go ahead and sprout them as microgreens alongside these organic broccoli seeds, which are sprout seeds. So much variety in nutrients, and it allows me to use seeds that have been just sitting around so they don't go to waste. They don't lose all their germination, just go bad, but rather I can sprout the things like the root crops and the leafy stuff that is so highly nutrient dense and edible and adds variety. And to really refine my seed bag allows me to make room for more seeds this year, use up, really get it to a point where I'm not letting anything go to waste. Seed saving is big for all the things that I'm going to be growing. This year, I'm going to grow a lot of these butternut squash. Where are they? I actually planted 4 of them to check the germination of the seed. So I want to see for when it's time. They are right here. I got a bunch of them. And I'm only going to grow 1 squash variety so that I can be sure about the seed being true. So there's no cross-pollination in the garden here. Between, even if there are 2 separate gardens, I don't want to chance it at all, and I want to seed save and just have so many, most of this bag planted out there. That many squash plants to save all that. All that squash I grew last year, I already ate it all and fed it all to the animals. We're out. And all the pumpkins that I got for free. That was like a giant bin full of pumpkins. We need a lot. You need a lot of those. That's a primary crop. Winter squash and potatoes. If you have those 2 things and meat, you're set. Wheat, corn, clean water, the animals' food. You don't need all too much. Just core crops, microgreens and green things, vitamin C, all these things that you get right here at home. And it can be kept bulk and simple. And that's a big focus of mine this year. Last year was as well, and I seen that I grew a bunch there of the squash. The potatoes, I still have like 11 or 12 of these bins full of potatoes buried. I'm going to pull up here sooner than later and plant my own seed this year. I'm going to look to get a bunch more seed so that I can really have like 5 times that, at least. And there's a bunch that I didn't even get to pull from back at the other farmhouse still. That's probably double even what I have now. There's still a whole nother round over there that I'm probably not going to get. That whole area back over there is going to just explode with volunteers this season coming. It's going to be epic back there. I probably won't see it, but I can imagine. There's garlics, all kinds of everything. That thing was beautiful. This is going to be even more beautiful and bigger this season. We got to build it all. I got to build it all again. I got to till it all up, build the fences. I got that whole area where the tents are. That'll be garden area for the most part. So I'm not over there anymore. So there's that. But out here, I want this whole view. See, whole area out there is all property that I need to expand on this year with the ruminants grazing rotationally. And that pond over there, that's for the ducks. That's on the property, and that's going to get stocked with fish this season, and maybe even build some duck houses around it. Whenever I have a real big question, I ask the AI chatbot something like, is it safe to sprout root crops as microgreens? And now the answer was, yes, it's safe to sprout common root crops like carrots, radishes, and beets as microgreens, but avoid toxic varieties. So you got to watch out and look for toxic varieties. So now I'm going to be making sure that these seeds that I have that I want to sprout, leafy things, as well as the root crops, will get double checked to be sure that they're not a toxic variety, and sprout them. We have the resource right here at our fingertips. Whenever you have a question, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask the question everything. If you don't know for sure if it's safe, see, and it's a safety protocol for preservation of life, it's self-preservation technique. I looked up the specific name of this rutabaga to be sure that it's safe to eat as a microgreen. In this tray is 3 different crops: broccoli sprouts, radish sprouts, and the rutabagas that I double checked on to be sure are safe. They're going to sprout up, and I'm going to eat them as microgreens in probably just a few days. Continue to work this practice and regularly always have fresh microgreens to eat. Get some things in here like beets as well. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I might just grab some beets here, put those in as well. There's more kales, so likely, this is a lot of kale. I might as well just grab some kale and add those as well. And figure out what else is going on. I think there's some beets that I tossed over here. Now that we're here, we can't miss an opportunity to go ahead and find beets, which are, wait a minute. Oh, these are peas. Holy moly. I could actually throw a few of those in there for nutrients too. Let's do that. And beets. I know I got a bag in here that's just stacked. Beets, right here. Here they are. Detroit Dark. So sprinkle a few of those and a few kales and a couple of peas. So then that'll add 3 more things to our microgreens and make for 6 different things to sprout here. But I do want to save some of these peas here for the season outside. Same with the beets. So, kale, I got a lot of that. But there's just so much, and I'm ordering more seeds that it's abundant. Check these 3. I'm sure they're edible. I'm sure they're good to sprout as microgreens, but I'm going to check for sure and be sure they're safe. No toxins that can... How does that work? That it is that the greens could be toxic at a young age? But then again, all these things right here, the greens are edible when they're mature. So I don't think they are toxic, but it's still a thing to be sure on. At least that's what the AI chatbot said. We're clear. All safe. Beautiful. Peppered on top. It should all take root. I'm not going to cover it with any more top dressing, any little bits of soil on top. Just going to water it in and put it up next to the other seed tray. Watch it sprout over the next few days and enjoy. Soil I pulled from the goats enclosure where the tents are at. The tent area I was just at. The ground right underneath their bedding makes for very fertile soil because it's rich in their manure and all the urine. So I'm picking that up and putting it into buckets and bringing it up and sifting it by hand, breaking up the dirt chunks, getting the rocks and hay and any wood chips out of there, and really making it nice to use as a potting mix for my seed starts and for all the things that I'm going to be growing up here. So that's a renewable way of gathering something that's so fertile and fresh, bringing it up, using it, mulching over top with spent bedding from the rabbits, and even the goats if I want to, but mainly the rabbits because they got all the rabbit manure, which is garden gold. Very, very good for your plants as a natural fertilizer. Pretty much the best next to goat manure as well. Urine saturating throughout the spent hay, and that spent hay and all of it together making just a beautiful mulch to add a mulch layer to the top of pretty much everything that's sticking around here up in the grow rooms, out there in the garden. Same type of thing. With all that is being produced, there's enough to cover that scale of all the gardens, I'm thinking, this year. So it's going to be incredibly rich. Is he sharing, sweetie? Not your Larry. Oh my God. I'm his brother. What up, bud?